program, of course, we'll talk Grizzlies and a. I mean, they lost, but I wouldn't. I wouldn't say it was a particularly disappointing situation. I think it was pretty understandable. Utah playing desperate the way that they really needed to. They were, super scrappy, and Grizzlies continue to be without John Morant, and really just were clearly not at their best, and yet still hung in there, took it to overtime, and finally lost. So not a bad loss by any stretch of the imagination. The Grizzlies really don't have much to play for at this point. We'll talk about that coming up here on the program. Also, yes, we will talk about the Lakers situation and about what happens from there. We're going to give you updates on the Masters, Tiger Woods,
The Governors.
the Governors.
So, don't want to offend anybody.
We got plenty of Governors updates coming on the airwaves starting tomorrow. As that's when they will tee off. Weather could be a little bit of a factor. Certainly going to be a little bit chilly and rainy, and I think it's going to hold off weather-wise and not be too bad. From a rain perspective, but it is going to be a little bit colder, I think, than normal for the weekend. We'll talk about that and a whole lot more here on the program for the next 2 hours with all of you. You can join us on the AutoZone listener line, 901-360-8255, 901-360-8255. Get in the zone, AutoZone. You can dial up when you do at 360-8255. You'll talk to Darian in morning today after his Lakers finally gave up the ghost. Pitiful season. Maybe the worst regular season ever. We'll have to talk about that, and it's got to be up there. Very high on the list. If you want to chat with us, you can. We are streaming, of course, about all of your favorite streaming platforms. We are on it. Check it out on Twitter, on YouTube, on the app, all that stuff. And if you are watching us and you want to get involved, just chat away. Just a little taparoo, and it pops right up. And
it's convenient.
We can chat. It's very convenient. Super convenient. So go ahead and take care of it there. That's how you get in touch with us. We'd love to hear from you throughout here on Sports 56 98.5. We're here in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Anthony Saint, how you feeling today?
Man, I'm good, man. I'm doing really good. I been battling with sleep yesterday, but last night was a little better night.
How you describe that battle to me.
I wake up in the middle of the night and start occupying myself.
Like you're fighting.
Yeah.
Is that like a euphemism?
Huh?
Is that a euphemism when you start
What, saying I'm fighting myself?
No, I mean like you.
I see you thinking I'm Steve-O or somebody?
Like you're occupying yourself, like outside, like jumping out of a plane, occupying yourself.
Well, it might be part of the getting me back to sleep thing, but nah, man, I just kind of struggle with sleeping through the night, man. And I tried different things.
Are you having like nightmares? Or are you having like
Nah, man, I just wake up in the middle of the night, and it's never like a calm wake up. It's like I wake up and I'm like
you're
fully
thrashing
alert.
around?
Yeah, I'm like fully alert, and then I start screwing around on my phone, or I'll watch something on Netflix, but I stay in the bed the whole time. I'm not up, getting up, doing stuff.
You gotta just turn on.
I just been really battling with it, man.
Instead of like turning on Netflix, though, have you tried like listening to like a podcast or something, like something that
typically does
something done. Yeah, no, don't do anything visual. Don't get the lights going. Just turn.
But I'll wake up in my mind and be like, you need to be doing this, and that turns into just screwing around on the phone. I don't know, man. Like I'm just in a.
You need.
I'll get out of it. Though.
I'm gonna hook you up with some. I'm gonna hook you up with some medicine.
Oh, I got the medicine, but when I take the medicine, it put me down too long the next day. I'll go into the next day tired, and I don't like sleeping in. Like just pray for me, bro.
Okay, all right. Because I don't know if we're talking about the same medicine. So.
You talking about something like that you can go buy in the store?
No, I'm talking about something that you have to get somebody prescribed to you.
See, no. See, I'm at the point in life where I'm trying to protect two things. I'm trying to protect.
I think just open your mind. Open that third eye. You might.
I'm trying to protect two things, man. My hair.
Yeah.
And my reproductive system. Like those are two things I'm trying to.
Well, this won't affect either one of those.
All right.
So you're good on that.
As long as you ain't got me. Yeah.
No, you good. You good on all that. We'll talk about it. We'll figure it out. Because I understand this sounds like a little anxiety, which
yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah. I deal with that, so I understand. I'm well versed in that. We'll get you sorted out. I want to get you good to go.
I go to Dr. Hardin sometimes, but
yeah, I would not recommend Dr. Hardin I mean, he'll certainly prescribe some stuff for you. But
Man, you need to get that
man, I got Delta
Pop Rocks, man.
Delta 9. It's with the good stuff. Delta 10. It's not even on the market yet. I found a guy.
It's that Delta, man, 11, man.
I got this Omicron. I was whoa, hold on. That's not no.
Hey, you heard this commercial he does for like the COVID,
yeah.
the COVID weed?
Yeah,
Like, what are you talking about, Art?
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the Delta strain. This is the Omicron strain. Oh, no.
Yeah, man, it's anti-COVID weed,
Man, that'll put you right out. That'll put you out for about a month.
If you get COVID during that time, you'll never know it,
You'll be in the
man.
hospital, man.
Exactly.
You want that rest? I'll get you rest up for a long time right there.
Yeah.
All right, so
And then be like him talking about I can't hear thoughts in my mind. Like, what are you talking?
I don't have a voice inside my head, man.
Yeah, but anyway.
man, I can't. That one's the one. Yeah, see, I hear that all the time. I can hear it just fine. I just can't see it.
Mm-hmm.
It's different. We all get different stuff going on over there.
Yeah, I know.
In my mind.
Christ.
All right. So last night, did you see the video that I sent you guys a video? I posted.
Yes, it was the funniest thing in the world.
Unnecessary.
The one shining moment of the Lakers season. Oh my God!
I didn't see that video.
Oh, you didn't see that video?
I looked at the Avengers Endgame.
Oh no! You got to see the video. That somebody put the one shining moment to the Lakers season. It's oh my God! I would play for you, but you obviously it would just be one shining moment on the
Music.
air. You can't. The video is what really sets it apart.
He and Zach around here tweeting Laker hater isms.
Oh my God! It's the funniest. I mean, because you think about where they were and what they've done, and how and just I watched that. I even watched the Laker broadcast, like the post game, to watch them just like James Worthy's just like, what is wrong with, like, he just was he was like, this is just terrible, like we just suck, like this is. They were the post. There was no like sugarcoating it. The post game show, they were just dogging. They were like, I mean, yeah, there are injuries, but this is, come on, man, this is the Lakers. Like, I can't believe we're sitting here talking about this, right? It just was, it was so good.
And the people kill me like the Lakers hadn't been like crap. There was like a long run where the Lakers were terrible before LeBron got there. Like man, y'all been trash.
I mean, but you think about like in LeBron at the end.
Man, I forgot about this stuff.
Man, does this tarnish the? You got to listen to the music with it, man. You got to pause. You wait till the break. You got to listen to the music with it, man. The music is what makes it.
You ain't missing nothing.
No, you got to know.
You ain't missing
The
nothing.
music is what makes it. You get all this other crap is.
Airball the free throw.
No, you got to watch. The music is what makes it special. When you hear that with the one shining moment, it's unbelievable. Yeah, the Lakers got clowned last night by the Suns. I mean, the Suns were obviously, after what happened in the bubble and from last year, and since the Lakers clown. If you remember the thing where who was it? Was Markieff, or who was it doing the LeBron like post up like on the bench, like mocking because he was posting up in the playoffs. And they were mocking them. And since that moment, the Suns are 7-0 against the Lakers. They swept them this year. They knocked them out of playoff contention. Completely dominated them last night in every way. It was not even close, even though Anthony Davis played. And after the game, Anthony Davis blamed injuries, as many Laker people do. But you have to remember that the Lakers had their big, quote unquote, big three of LeBron, AD, and Westbrook for 20 games this year. The Grizzlies only had their quote unquote big three of Ja, Jaren, and Dylan. Dylan, big one.
Dylan.
The other two. For
Big
11
me.
games. For 11 games this
Now
year.
the big three is the big me.
Big me and little two. The Grizzlies have only had that group together for 11 games this year. The Nuggets have only had their best three players together for zero games
yeah.
this year. You can go up and down the league. The Clippers, how many games have they had Paul George
none.
and Kawhi Leonard together? None. Like, yeah, I mean, the everyone deals with injuries. Everyone deals with stuff. How many? The Nets. I mean, you can go up and down the list. Like, everybody's had these. The Lakers had their guys more than any of those teams.
Right.
So the excuses fall flat. They were bad with those guys. They were bad without those guys. They were bad when LeBron played. They were bad when LeBron didn't play. They were bad when AD played. They were bad when he didn't play. They were bad when Russ played. They were probably better when he didn't play, but they were still bad. Either way, it was, in short, and I mean, I don't know how to quantify this, but the disappointment and the disaster of that this season for them, I think has got to be. This might be the worst season in NBA history.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Combining the because you remember the hype, and if you look at their top 6 guys, in look at the pictures from Media Day when it's LeBron and Anthony Davis and
DeAndre Jordan and
then you got Rajon Rondo and Carmelo Anthony and Dwight Howard and obviously Russ and the whole thing. Like you got a bunch of Hall of Famers and all these dudes. Like who's beating this group?
Trevor Ariza.
Everybody, it turns out. And so all that hype, and they don't even make the play in.
Yeah.
You're talking about all you have to do is be one of the best 10 teams.
Yeah.
In a conference. Just one of the best 10 teams. And they couldn't even do that.
10 out of what, 15?
Yeah, 10 out of you don't have to be like one of the top half. You're not even the top half, just the top 2/3. And they can't even do that. I don't. It's a humiliation on almost a Coach K scale. Of
and they're done,
humiliation.
Man. They're done for a while. Like there's no other player in another team who has like a reason outside of basketball to go to LA. You know what I mean? Like you had, Paul George and Kawhi are 2 LA guys. They're already in LA with the Clippers. Like there's no superstar in waiting who's like, oh, that guy, he's headed to LA soon. Like they're crap, man. They're gonna be crap for a while. They're stuck with their Westbrook contract next year. LeBron's gonna leave in a couple of years. Plus he's 37 years old. AD is what he is. Man, that organization is gonna be crap for the next 10 years, man. And I don't feel sorry for them at all, especially after they screwed our pick over.
But I mean, that's the only real negative thing is that the Grizzlies now have virtually no chance of getting that pick.
Yeah,
and that pick turns into 2 second-round picks if they don't get it.
And they get one this year, right?
Yeah, they get one this year and then one in 2025.
Yeah.
So it's not not like it's not like it rolls over to the next year or anything like that. Like some of the picks do. No, this is either or. It's either the Pelicans get it or the Grizzlies get it. And if they don't get it, then 2 second-round picks. It's not great.
So that pick is going to be like what, 38, 39 this year?
Yeah, it'll be a decent second-round pick. But it's still a second-round pick, obviously. Yeah. I mean, you think like the Pelicans are sitting here. Think about that from their perspective. I mean, it's been a crap year for them in many respects. Although they've kind of bounced back and they've
made a good trade.
Made a nice. They've made a good trade and they've kind of recovered and they're looking pretty decent.
Yeah.
In the play, and they're gonna play the Spurs in the play-in. By the way, that's locked and loaded. So they're doing all whatever they're doing. Obviously, the Zion stuff is still swirling, and yet just through no they had no conception, no thought at the beginning of the year. And at the end of the year, they're going to end up with like the 8th pick.
Yep.
They could end up with a top pick.
Yeah, because
that pick could go up. That pick has got about a 30% chance to go into the top 4.
They traded their pick this year for McCollum, and then they're getting an even better.
They're going to get a better. That pick again. There's a decent chance that pick ends up top 4.
Mm-hmm.
And David Griffin, the one thing he can do is win draft lotteries.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's the one thing he can do. I'm not sure what else he does, but the one thing he does is win draft lotteries. So it wouldn't surprise me a bit if it's like, and the number 1 pick goes to the LA Lakers, and then the Pelicans have to end up with like what is happening?
I ran it through Tankathon several times, and they ended up with the 1st and 2nd pick a couple of times.
It's very. I mean, they again, it's got about a 30% chance as of today to jump up into the top 4.
Well, you want to hear what Conspiracy Saying has to say?
I mean, I have a feeling.
I guess you say you spreading the Lakers broke, so continue spreading whatever else you talking about.
Hey, well, the Lakers are broke, man. They're done. Conspiracy Saying says this. I apologize for not on the Zoom. Something's going on with my individual network over here. In my mind? No.
My Zoom.
In my mind.
I think the NBA already knows. You could have kept that right. I think the NBA already knows that Zion is getting up out of New Orleans. And Adam Silver is desperately trying to keep a team in New Orleans. So he's gonna bail them out again this year, man.
Why does he desperately want a team in New Orleans?
I don't know. Oh, because he wants to expand. You've heard my theory on it.
Yeah, but I mean, there are other. You could move them to a different market and still be able to expand. There's 2 or 3 markets that they'd be able to move to and then you could still expand to Seattle and Vegas or whoever else you were.
I don't think people will approve of it though.
Vegas is building a new stadium again.
I think that if you got poverty franchises in the NBA, like they're not going to vote to add another team. Like everybody's got to kind of look like they kind of got this together.
You know,
That's
they get
always
more
been
money
my thing.
for a new team than a
Now
relocation, right?
this, now this, I just
NBA?
got.
That's what I'm saying.
Now this. No, we'll see how, as of Tankathon right now, but we'll see. I just clicked on it,
What'd you get?
and I got New Orleans. Their own pick jumped to number 1 from the
Okay.
lottery, and then on top of that, they get the Lakers pick.
What's the protection on Portland?
It is top 4.
4?
Is he gonna be back next year?
Man, if they get like 4 and 8, I'll be man. Good God, I'll be.
I believe
hating
it's
them.
I believe it's protected.
Dude, they gonna end
top
up with
4.
1 and 3.
I think it's protected top 4 and then 15 through 30. So I think they're guaranteed to get a like a mid lottery pick, which is what they were wanting.
You
So
get Chet and Jay Ivey with
Man,
Zion down there.
Theme to them folks. Though.
that's twice now. I've clicked 2 in a row in New Orleans.
Yeah, it's hot
Their
for
pick
New
jumped
Orleans,
up
isn't
in
it?
there.
Even Tankathon is in on the.
Yeah, even Tanker done
rig.
it. Yeah, I was doing
Rigness.
it yesterday.
Not
Lou
one-
Ferrigno.
Not once have the Grizzlies ended up with that pick.
Not once did it go backwards, Pete. That's what I was
Yeah,
kind of looking for.
because again, the odds for it to go backwards,
A lot of teams have to go
are
backwards.
extreme. Now, again, I want to let me make sure I want everyone to understand the situation here. As of today, the Lakers pick, and I think it's going to stick roughly in this category because of the way that the NBA odds work and the new lottery, the flattened lottery system, where you do the top 4, and the way that the pick kind of plays out. You can look at the odds. And so in order for the Lakers pick to end up at 11, the Lakers are slotted in the 8th spot. That's pretty much where they're going to be. So that they're slotted at that 8th spot. That means that in order for that to happen, and for that pick to drop down to 11, which is where the Grizzlies would get it, that means that 3 teams below the Lakers have to jump up above them in the lottery. The odds of that happening are extremely low. In fact, we can calculate how low they are. The odds of that happening are 0.4%. 0.4%. So the Grizzlies have a 0.4% chance of getting that pick now. About 3 weeks ago, that was like a 50% chance. Now it's 0.4% chance of getting that pick. Because that means one of San Antonio, Washington, New York, New Orleans, Charlotte, Atlanta, 3 of those 6 have to jump up. All of them. That's not going to happen. Because otherwise the Lakers stay at 8, or they drop to 9, or they drop to 10, or the pick jumps up themselves. In fact, as of right now, they have a 27% chance of that pick jumping up into the top 4. So that's why you see when you click Tankathon and do the thing, that's why it jumps up to the top 4 a lot more often, because there's like, about 300% more likelihood of that happening than the Grizzlies getting the pick. So
I blame you, Darren. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Blame me and one pretty.
You just brought weird energy towards my team this year, man. With this Lakers stuff, man. And this is what it's turned into.
yeah, it's weird energy.
You and Mr. Norris, man, both of y'all together.
And then the Grizzlies losing to the
And
draft.
Fletch. You gonna throw Fletch?
no, I'm not throwing Fletch in this one.
Grizzlies losing last night to the Utah Jazz. So the that dropped the Grizzlies pick, the Jazz pick. The Grizzlies do own the Jazz pick this year. They dropped that to now to 22 at this point. So Grizzlies kind of a direct issue, but that was not a shock. We'll talk about that game coming up later on in this hour. When we come back, though, we're going to talk to John Gasaway, our good friend, talking college hoops with Johnny. We're going to get the scoop on the national championship, what he saw, what he thought. We'll get a tribute to Coach K, whatever form that takes. We'll talk about too early stuff for next year, maybe a little bit on Memphis too. All that still to come here. Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ. Listen to us daily on 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world at sports56whbq.com or on the Sports 56 app.
I'm with the expert. Yeah, that's right, expert. Kyle Storms here with Big Green Egg. Kyle, what can you cook on a Big Green Egg?
Almost anything. You can smoke, bake, roast, sear, and grill. Some of the best barbecue desserts and pizzas I've ever eaten have been cooked on a Big Green Egg.
I have to be honest, the last grill I had fell apart on me. I had to throw it away. What kind of warranty comes with a Big Green Egg?
This will truly be the last grill you have to buy. Big Green Egg has had a lifetime warranty on all ceramic parts of the egg since 1995. I talk to customers all the time that have had their eggs for 10, 20, 30 plus years. You can't say that about most grills.
How long has the Big Green Egg been around?
Big Green Egg was founded in 1974 by naval engineer Ed Fisher and has never changed ownership. Ed found out that no matter what you throw on an egg, it just comes out better. And now more and more people find out every year.
Found a great new restaurant in Horn Lake, Mississippi, Mr. Q's Sloppy Joe's on Highway 51, Horn Lake, Mississippi. Bring back those childhood memories from homemade Sloppy Joe's to mouth-watering cheeseburgers, spicy or regular fries, chicken tenders, chicken wings, jumbo hot dogs. Just a little secret, Sloppy Joe's has got that nachos cheese on it. On fire, delicious. Fried catfish that melts in your mouth. Light batter too, even homemade lemon cake. Check us out. Don't forget Q's Sloppy Joe's. Daily breakfast from 7A to 10A. Try Q's Big Breakfast. 3 homemade gigantic pancakes, 3 meats, 3 eggs for $10.75. Generous portions. Come hungry. Mr. Q's Sloppy Joe's, 5441 Highway 51. Just 20 minutes from Memphis. Can't miss it. Beautiful old brick house. Mr. Q's Sloppy Joe's, 5441 Highway 51, Horn Lake, Mississippi.
Police officers know it only takes a few seconds of someone texting and driving for things to go terribly wrong. That's why officers are increasing enforcement of texting and driving laws. So put your phone down when driving, or be prepared for the consequences. You drive, you text, you pay. Paid for by NHTSA.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
If you have damage to your home and have your insurance carrier involved, you need a great contractor. You also need a team that has seen claims of all shapes and sizes, residential or commercial. After our inspection, we'll share our findings and give you our professional opinion. Some people say you get what you pay for. However, our opinion is free. Trust the name you can depend on, like the tens of thousands of families Brian and I have served over the past 20 years here in the Mid-South. Brian Elder Roofing. We'll measure your roof from outer space and share our team's experience for your property and claim. Repaired roofs, replacement roofs, big roofs, tiny roofs, insurance roofs, flat roofs, TPO roofs, asphalt roofs, tile roofs, slate roofs, metal roofs. If your roof needs some love, call me. 901-867-0303 for Brian Elder Roofing and Contracting.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Now, back to Sports 56 Grind Time. Here once again are Peter Edmiston and Anthony Sane.
I'm here now. What? No P. Diddy. Black Rob. That's Black Rob, right?
G-Dep.
G-Dep, that's right, yeah.
It's like Funkmaster Flex.
No G-Dep. Woo!
Kind of did this for Gabe. Watch this. And started at DH. Back in St. Louis. After leaving from La La Land. Number 5. Alberto Pujols.
Pete back.
Tomorrow, baby.
Why did you why'd you like you ducked off at the end there?
No.
You're like, no.
Hey, man,
You gotta go all the way with it. Don't
let me find out you trying to put a resume reel together.
Hey, man.
He's trying to put this together.
You listen to this podcast. Yeah, I got this. Let me see a little snippet, man, of me doing some PA.
Nothing but Albert Pujols.
At guard. From North Carolina. T-Head. Michael Jordan. At guard.
Kind of like what Raptor is.
South Carolina. Out of our state. Jumper.
On every billboard.
Anthony
From
Sane.
Parkway
That's who it is. Anthony Sane. That's the one on never.
to Hyde Park.
Before we talk to our friend John Gassaway, remember MLB opening day is here, and right now all customers for FanDuel Sportsbook can swing for the fences with a risk-free same-game parlay on FanDuel. Just pick any MLB game and combine at least 3 bets. How about this? Take a little winner, Maybe get a little home run action. And maybe get that total score. And maybe do all that. Combine it all into one bet for bigger payouts. And if your bet doesn't win, FanDuel will refund you up to $10 in site credit. Not sure what to bet on? Check out FanDuel's popular same-game parlays to see what most fans are betting on and get in on the action risk-free. There's no better place to bet America's pastime than on America's #1 sportsbook. That is FanDuel Sportsbook. Head over to your FanDuel account or download the FanDuel Sportsbook app and sign up today using promo code BIGHEAD. That's me. I got a big head. To bet your risk-free same-game parlay today. That's promo code BIGHEAD for FanDuel Sportsbook. Must be 21 and older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable site credit that expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call Tennessee Redline 1-800-889-9789. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, joining us from Bristol. I don't think he's in Bristol. From somewhere in the upper northeast area. At guard, 6'2", maybe. Let's go with that. John Gassaway.
Gassaway, you 6'2"?
No, sir. I'm a little taller than that.
Whoa! How tall are you?
I'm 6'6".
Whoa!
John Gassaway, you
6'6" from North Carolina.
Yeah.
John Gassaway.
John Gassaway, you could have been a nice little NBA wing, man.
Oh, man. Yeah. Okay. All right. This is a church league sniper over here.
Did you play ball in school?
I did, yeah.
You played college too?
I was slow but weak, yeah.
Slow but weak.
Were you a guard, wing, big? What were you?
I was a big back in the day. Yeah.
Back to the basket. We had good footwork.
Just ahead of your time, man. You could have been a perfect small ball four.
Yeah, mm-hmm. I was missing all those long twos. I wasn't into this basketball analytics.
No,
stuff.
you're taking a lot of it. And that's what inspired you to find the most efficient shot, because you just knew
exactly
that you weren't taking it at this point in time.
No, I certainly was not. No.
John, we have crowned a champion. It is Kansas. We'll see what happens with the NCAA involvement in said champion soon enough. But on the court, do you? It's clearly a worthy champion. What was most impressive to you about the run that they made?
They were worthy. They survived, and what impressed me was they got it done in a number of different ways for a while there. Well, for three halves against Miami and then against Villanova, it looked like, well, okay, this is the greatest team ever, and they're just, making every three they shoot, and this North Carolina, game isn't even going to be a contest. And then we know the rest. They give up a 16-0 run. They're down by 15 at halftime, and they still won. So that's getting it done every way that you can do it. It was not a smooth ride at all. They were absolutely crushed on their defensive glass, even by Villanova, and especially by a North Carolina team where like every player on it either had a sprained ankle or they were literally throwing up on the floor.
Yeah, that was
they were still just beating them to a pulp and getting all these offensive rebounds, and Kansas still found a way to win. So it was impressive all the way around, and my hat is off to Bill Self and his men.
John, a lot of people kind of downplay Bill Self as a coach. They give him props as a recruiter, but don't really give him credit for being. They kind of say he's one of the best bad coaches in college basketball. Does winning another national championship, does that change that narrative, or in your personal opinion? Like, basically, I'm asking, what do you think of Bill Self as actual, like, on the court coach?
Yeah, I think Bill Self is a good coach. I think that we vastly overrate, both for good and bad, the impact that coaches have on their team. Self, to me, is a fascinating case, I want to say, because he went through an era where he always lost in the Elite Eight. And so I was looking for something, online from like 15 years ago. And I was like trafficking deep in the words of 2007 era when he was losing Elite Eights. And his reputation at that time, as you say, was, this guy can't, good recruiter, but can't figure anything. He's always getting out coached, And now that has swung around, even before the national title, that has swung around 180 degrees, at least in Lawrence. They love him. They really know their hoops at Kansas, and they really go deep into the chess game stuff, and he's a grandmaster. And I was struck just looking at this stuff in 2007 just this week. I was like, wow, he's had a good 15 years because now, people talk about him like he's another Wooden. So certainly being the only active coach with multiple national titles under your belt, in addition to Jay Wright, that will further that reputation along.
Well, I mean, we've talked about it before. I mean, everybody's and this is something to hearten Tennessee fans with regard to Rick Barnes. Everybody's a choker until they're not. I mean, it's just there's a reputation that happens until it doesn't, and then then you can go back and undo it. John Elway, never could win the big one until he won his last two, Super Bowls in his last 2 years of his career. You can go down the list. Peyton Manning couldn't win a big one until he did. So I think Jay Wright. Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of examples.
They were losing in the first weekend as really high seeds in consecutive tournaments, right up to and through 2015, and Jay Wright just got so much grief, and the next year he wins the national title.
I mean, it's what it is, and everyone's the vagaries of the tournament will cause your resume to have some blemishes and some issues and things like that. It just it happened to everybody, including the legendary former coach of Duke, Mike Krzyzewski, who was unceremoniously dumped out again by North Carolina, this time in the Final Four. And I would contend, John, I'm not to say that North Carolina didn't want to win a national title. Obviously they did. Obviously they were very focused, and clearly they were saddened by the fact they didn't win on Monday. But I would contend that what they did this year is bigger than any national championship, because you can only do it once. You can win national championship every year. They give one of those out. They give the trophy out every year, same trophy. All the stuff, Mark Emmert, awkward conversation, all that sort of thing happens every year. But only one time can you end your rival's career, and frankly, in my opinion, end the rivalry itself. Because I just don't think there's anything that Duke can do now. I think that's it. I think it's over. UNC Duke no longer a rivalry, John.
Yeah, no, that's the capstone on all of it was it happened to be a great game.
It was.
I mean, I know
phenomenal game.
I know it would be emotionally satisfying to Tar Heel fans if it was like a total blowout and no contest. But for the rest of us, it was great because it was just a fantastic game. It was entertaining. It was close. It was suspenseful. It was well played. So I am with you. I am on team Mr. Peter, because I think you're exactly right. It's the best game ever played in the rivalry, and now purists will go, rah, 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 1988, they did blah, blah, blah. Well, who cares? I mean, this was the NCAA tournament Final Four. I mean, this is it. This is the best one, and it was a great game. And North Carolina won, and those players, they will always have that. I know it was heartbreaking. In fact, losing the title game, there's a great photo. If anyone hasn't seen it, go out and Google image search this, because it's just fantastic. And it's like Caleb Love is literally, weeping after the national title game, and some KU rando from the bench is like, cheering, is like celebrating in the background, and it's just like March Madness in one image. It's fantastic. But even with that heartbreak, that will mend, and they will just have this triumph over Duke forever. It was an amazing night.
John, I need you to help me push an agenda. I've got a thought process, and if you co-sign it, I'm gonna write it down as gospel. Just gonna be honest.
Let's do it.
All right, Kansas and Bill Self are facing sanctions, right? Did I word that right?
Let's say they're under review. Yeah.
All right. So is Memphis, right?
Yep. Yeah.
All right. So this is what I want you to agree with me on. I want you to tell me. Yeah. So is LSU, right?
Just want to throw that out there.
Hey, let's not go down the list. It's a long list.
Right. Everybody nasty. Everybody just grimy out here. Do you see a scenario where when you have big name schools, I wouldn't call LSU a blue blood, but I will call Kansas one, surely. When you have a blue blood school who's in the mix, especially a team like that allegedly has more allegations than Memphis, could you see a situation where Memphis gets a softer sanction than expected because a blue blood is not going to get killed like that?
I think that the atmosphere can change in partially because of what other schools are having happen to them in the disciplinary process. Yes. There will never be justice delivered in these situations, and specifically, there will never be comparative justice. And that sucks because in the real world, that is the very essence of justice. I stole an apple and you stole an apple and the same thing happened to us. That never happens in the NCAA process. Rarely, never is a strong word. But the atmosphere is changing, under our feet. And we are presented with the odd spectacle of, we've got NIL now. And I mean, you can color within the lines and say that's not exactly the same as paying players. And it's not, but in effect, it's paying players. And now what do we do with these cases from 2017, where allegedly there were payments to players? It's a great question, and I'll be really interested to see what happens. But in exactly the same sense that Louisville won the 2013 national title, no ifs, ands, or buts. Kansas won the 2022 national title, and that's just what we saw happen. So that's final, and it's resolved, and we'll see what happens now from here.
There's so many different things you could do. You can go back to 2008 and relitigate the Kansas team that beat Memphis in that incredibly tight and crazy final.
North Carolina academic fraud.
Yeah, North Carolina academic fraud. But literally, John, Darrell Arthur.
Some angles is a bigger deal.
It should be. It should be. Absolutely, it should be, because that strikes at the very heart. The same thing is true with Kansas. Darrell Arthur, who played on that team, had a completely fraudulent transcript.
Good memory. Good memory.
So we just gonna. So I don't. The whole thing.
Good Texas product. Yeah, I remember exactly. I remember researching my Texas high schools on that story.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, but we're fine with it because it happened and it's done and it's in the books and whatever. So that's the way the NCAA works. The problem for Memphis, though, if I may push back slightly, Anthony, saying I'm sorry to do so.
Yeah, I knew you were going to do it, man.
You know how I do. You know how I am. The problem for Memphis is that the NCAA has sort of a mafioso kind of vibe going. There's sort of an omerta situation where if we tell you that your player is under potential sanction and we advise you to take said player out of the mix, you should do that. And the one thing that they don't want you to do is to go against them and to try to fight back against them. To take it is what you need to do. Hey, you know what? We're gonna. Oh, he could be. We've ruled him ineligible. Okay, we're not gonna play him. All right, fair enough. The NCAA gives you that message. Yeah, but Memphis.
That's true. Yeah.
Memphis said, you know what? We're gonna take this. We're literally gonna go to court and get an injunction to let him play for 3 games. Then they decided, well, not so fast. That to me, John, is the difference. I think the NCAA. I fear they're gonna make an example out of somebody who dared to buck the system.
That could happen. You're right. That could well happen. And
I've thought about it.
It's amazing how every story involving the NCAA is the same as it's ever been. It's incredible. And I mean, since time immemorial, we have loved the spectacle. Rare, but it stands out when a school, a coach fights back.
Yep.
And we love it.
Yep.
We shower that figure with praise. It's Tarkanian. It's Al McGuire in the 70s.
Yep.
We absolutely love that. To an extent, it was Coach Boynton, at Oklahoma State, having that press conference and saying how wrong it was to have a postseason. He was just doing it rhetorically, but he was sincere, he was passionate, and it was great. We love that spectacle. And then eventually what happens is the school or the coach says, I think we're gonna start to play ball here after all.
We're just gonna step that back a little bit.
If you're Tarkanian, you kind of roll off into the sunset, but really that's what happens every single time. But while they're rebelling, it's magnetic. I mean, we just can't resist it, and we love watching it.
Well, that's why I was really, when Memphis decided to go that route, I was really excited because I thought it signaled, and Memphis had at the time, the university president was extremely pro athletics, very aggressive in this whole situation. So, normally the university president is the one who's very conservative, but in this case, he was, really would have supported such a thing. And you see them just say, "Hey, I thought this was the signal that they're actually going to push back all the way, that they're going to fight this thing,
Right.
actually take it to court. Say, look, we're going to fight. We're going to take you. We're going to make you, go through the discovery process. We're going to get some evidence. We're going to put this whole system on trial." I was like, "Oh, this is exciting. Yeah, you can't handle the truth.
Right.
You need me on that wall. Let's get Colonel Jessup out here." I ordered the code red, and then they just didn't. Then they just backed right back off, and it was too late because you'd already irritated them at that point.
Exactly.
I mean, so I don't know. It was the worst of both worlds. Here's another side. No, I don't. Do you have a philosophy? Because I've seen some people. There's some. I would say some disquiet at Kentucky right now. With regard to John Calipari. No, but I don't think there's any real push to get rid of him or anything like that. But he had the worst tournament loss in school history, after the worst season in school history, and there's no banners going up anytime soon, except for one potentially. Oscar Tshiebwe is now a unanimous Player of the Year, 6 for 6, all of the major awards, all the major
Good for him.
Good for him. Is that worthy of a banner? Would you say do you put a banner up when your player wins Player of the Year?
That will get strong debates down in Lexington.
I know. It already has been. It already has been. Yeah.
I think that's pretty cool. I mean, if that were my player, I would definitely do that. I've seen banners for less, but with the Kentucky disquiet, when you see it, it's obviously real. I'm not doubting that. I just wonder to what extent this is. Shall we say, in the comment section of the fan page?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I mean,
right.
if you're in the comment section, no offense, commenters, you're probably crazy. So what can we really infer from this? And there's a bunch of normal, silent Kentucky fans out there rolling their eyes. They've, even since Calipari's been there, much less historically, but I mean, just in the Calipari era, they are eclipsed only by the usual suspects, Kansas, North Carolina, and Duke, in terms of tournament wins. I would love for my school to have 1/4 of the tournament wins that Kentucky has rolled up since he got there. And if you coach long enough, you will have a game where you get beat by the equivalent of a St. Peter's, or you get beat by somebody who's not seated so crazy high or crazy low, I'm sorry, but they beat you by more. At least St. Peter's game went to overtime. It's guaranteed. It will happen. And people will say, you can't coach. But that's what the NCAA tournament is. Anybody can lose. And I repeat that every year. People don't believe it. It's true. Anybody can lose.
And often they do. I think also the other question, and I think because we've seen this before with those teams, and you mentioned St. Peter's. I mean, they make the run, and we've seen it time and time again in the past. The coach of that team, or the coaches of those teams that make those runs, inevitably go to a bigger school. Generally speaking, Shaheen Holloway's gone to Seton Hall. That was more or less a done deal. And it's official, but you can look at, Andy Enfield, after
Andy
Florida
Enfield,
Gulf Coast,
goes
to Stan Heath back in the day, took Kent State to the Elite Eight, went to Arkansas right afterwards. Bill Self, absolutely.
Went to Illinois from Tulsa after taking Tulsa to the Elite Eight.
And Tulsa was the cradle of coaches, Nolan Richardson back in the day and all that. I mean, you saw several Tulsa coaches make that jump. So I think we know about that. But I saw today where, many of those same St. Peter's players, those peacocks that went crazy, Doug Edert, the famous mustachioed wing spokesperson, Daryl Banks, Matthew Lee.
That is the first time in human history that sentence is ever said. Famous mustachioed wing spokesperson.
That's what he is. That's what he is. More so than even a basketball player at this point, I think. They're all going to the transfer portal, and I think it's great, John, that we actually the same momentum that coaches have been able to take advantage of for years, that now players can too, and say, you know what, hey, we're going to jump in the portal. It's just it's a different world, but hey, man, I had a great run. I'm jumping the portal. I'm gonna see what happens. It's time for me to explore my opportunities, take my talents to South Beach or wherever. I just think, John, this is good. I was very happy to see that.
I have long yearned for players to have more mobility and more options than they had for so long. And I wonder if what we're going to see in the future, and it's hard to tell because some of it's mixed up with the pandemic. But as we get away from that, but we keep the one-time, in effect, no penalty transfer rule. I wonder if we might see more teams like all 4 of the Final Four teams where they never play their bench. And, it's just a really high-stakes game when you go in the transfer portal.
Yep.
If you land somewhere, you can get playing time. But if, for whatever reason, you don't make that cut, except for good old Tom Izzo, the rest of the world seems to be moving toward we got our core 6 guys at most, and that's it.
Yep. Except for Penny Hardaway. Penny Hardaway's got a core 11, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Tom Izzo, Penny Hardaway, but the rest of the world seems to be moving away from that. And my gosh, with North Carolina, I mean, none of those guys had 2 good legs by the end.
No, you got Puff Johnson out there vomiting on the court and all. Yeah,
doing his best Norman Dale. My team's on the floor. if you're a reserve, you got to be thinking, hey, at least I can walk. Put me in.
He's can live a life after basketball.
Yeah, I'm not gonna throw up in the lane when I make. I mean, that's a real step up at this point. You're not gonna have a bunch of bodily fluid out there on the court when I'm out here playing. We've talked about it here locally with Penny and the transfer the transfer portal. I want to say transfer window. I'm in my soccer mode. The transfer portal and people, he seems to have increasingly gone away from. And I don't know, the one and done thing is it's a little bit different. I mean, Duke, we saw the the good and the bad. I mean, some super talent, but one and dones. We've seen those teams in the past that have fallen short. A Kentucky team that was undefeated, falling to Wisconsin. I think more and more coaches are kind of leaning portal here, and it has changed the nature of constructing a team.
Well, and I've written on the question of whether, and this was definitely spurred by the pandemic, but this is also something that could stick around. When the oldest players in college basketball are older than they used to be, can you really go the one and done route as effectively is the question. And a team like Gonzaga, which mixes, the one and done model with a really important and savvy thing that they've done for years is they go international. And these international players typically, they're not just freshly minted from high school 18-year-old. These are to some extent more grown men than your normal first-year player. And anything you can do that bumps up your average age to the level that we saw from Baylor last year, where on average, weighted by minutes, they were like 22 years old, a full year older than the undefeated Gonzaga team that they thrashed. I think at that age, where you're talking about people in their early 20s, that's a real advantage. And I think coaches are beginning to think along those lines.
There's no question. John, we've just been so thrilled to have you. We appreciate it so much. So much fun. There's nobody who knows the sport better, nobody who's more fun to talk to about the sport and everything else that's associated with it. And I hope you get a little time to yourself now and just kind of get to relax, do some writing, do some walking, do some smoking of that proverbial pipe, and just luxuriating in the job well done, John.
Oh, this is great. You getting all this, Anthony? I love this.
Oh, yeah, good stuff, man.
No, we love it, man. We love it.
We
appreciate
season.
You.
Thanks, man.
We appreciate you so much, and we'll be in touch, and we'll before you know it, we'll be doing it again.
Sounds like a plan. Thanks,
All right,
Anthony.
thanks so much.
All right, John. Have a good one, man.
Our good friend John Gassaway. Great stuff from John. Man.
Always. So basically, Memphis is gonna get out scot-free,
or not, as the case may be.
You a hater, Peter?
No, I mean, that's what it is. Like,
that's been the thing I've been sitting on too. You made a good point about the whole thing with the whole playing a guy who's they say, hey, don't play that dude.
You just don't thumb your nose at the NCAA. That's what they really they are like the mafia. Like if we tell you to do something, you better.
I tell you to do something, you do it.
Exactly. That's what they hate more than anything else. I mean, the violations don't even matter as much as just following the rules. Welcome back. We'll ruminate on this a little bit as we continue here with hour number 1 of Grind Time. Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 98.5.
Former Memphis Tiger Gabe Kuhn joins Brett Norsworthy for Sports Time on Sports 56, presented by Lexus of Memphis. Weekday afternoons from 3 to 6 on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Is your bank standing in the way of you and your sportsbook? Try Action 24/7. We're cutting out the middleman. Deposit or withdrawal in cash. No more bank delays or failures. Action 24/7 has more than 100 partners in Tennessee for cash deposits and withdrawals. Visit action247.com for a location. Cash deposits and withdrawals from your Tennessee sportsbook. Action247.com. You got action.
Must be 21 or older and in Tennessee. For problem gambling support, call 800-889-9789.
Progressive presents Forced Metaphors about bundling your home, auto, and other vehicles.
In hockey, it's the goalie's job to protect the net. And in life, your net is your home and auto, but also your boat, motorcycle, RV, or ATV. And your goalie is the round-the-clock protection offered by Progressive Insurance. Well, and also the savings you get when you bundle. So in this metaphor, you have two goalies, which is okay because, it's just a metaphor.
Forced Metaphors. Presented by Progressive. Bundle and protect today. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Discount not available in all states or situations.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Now, back to Sports 56 Grind Time. Here once again are Peter Edmiston and Anthony Singh.
Yeah.
You hear me?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that a lot of folks just don't know, man. I don't know if I hope people appreciate my man John. He's an old head from way back. Got extreme bona fides.
Old head.
Bona fides. Oh yeah, in the industry, man. He goes way back. And I didn't realize he was that tall. I knew he was tall, but I didn't realize he was that tall.
Man, he was 6'6".
I thought I was,
I say he was strong, slow but weak.
Slow but weak. That's tough right there.
Yeah.
But he knows the stuff, and I think he's right about the way things are going and kind of the trend now in college basketball, and you see guys like Penny leaning into it, where it's like the portal is everything. The portal is everything. It's truly the whole deal. You got to lean on that portal. You cannot. It's really hard to win with just a bunch of young guys and all that. When guys are extending their careers now, guys can play. Maybe not to the degree that like a DeAndre Williams is. Like that's he's 26 out there still doing it. But guys are 21, 22 years old. That there is a physically a big difference between a 22-year-old and a 17 or 18-year-old.
That's for sure.
I mean, that's grown man strength versus you're still kind of a kid. And I think coaches are going to have to make those kinds of adjustments as far as where you go, what you do, how you build your team. Because I think we've seen also that it, from a system standpoint or anything else, man, these players are smart. They're good players, and they don't need, you don't need to hype up and be like, oh, it's a young guy, gotta build his this or gotta build that. You gotta learn no, man. You if you're good enough, you're ready. These systems are not that complicated. These players are really smart. They pick up on stuff, and they can immediately be difference makers.
I just worry about with the whole transfer portal. Look at that, 2 days in a row. The streak lives. I worry about situations where there are more guys transferring than actual scholarships. I just think it's kind of I'm totally down for it. These guys being able to move around like they're doing, I support that. I just don't want guys making bad decisions, like leaving a school and a scholarship behind, and there's not a scholarship for you to go to. I think a lot of guys can get caught up in there.
Yeah, you got to worry about that too. Mm-hmm. Also, interesting reports coming out in the wake of the NCAA title that NCAA, people talk about schools and everything else and what they're going to do in these NIL deals. But if you look at like one of the biggest ways that NIL deals and other situations can help with these students, there was a Supreme Court ruling last June, NCAA versus Alston, that more or less locked into place the idea that the NCAA can allow schools to actually pay their athletes up to just under $6,000 per year as a reward for academic performance. So that is literally paying players for good grades. Like, you get good enough grades and you get this money.
Yeah.
Only 21 schools are actually doing that.
I also got breaking news on that as well. Pizza Hut is a part of that with the Read to Achieve pizza parties for players who read a certain amount of books per semester.
Super important. I play right.
Sounds like Jump Rope for Heart. Remember that?
It's important. Well, no, but I mean, this is like you get $6,000. I mean, this is with respect to a personal pan pizza. $6,000 is all right. But I find it interesting that all these schools talking about how they can't do this, they can't do that, and yet only 21 schools
even taken
up on this out of the 130 that are playing FBS football and would presumably have access to the most money and the biggest budgets. Only 21 of them are actually doing it. So what are we doing out here?
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing out here?
Go get that money for these dudes. Man.
Like this. That's a legal way for you to actually pay players. And
does Pizza Hut still do that? Your kids get that?
And you locked into this Pizza Hut thing. I haven't seen that in years, man. I haven't seen that in like 20 years. Honestly.
Let's say it.
I don't think Pizza Hut cares if you read or not.
Did they ever care is what it makes you think.
Oh, I think they definitely
If you start something like that and stop it makes you wonder, did you ever care?
No, they don't care now.
The price of pizza went up these days, man. Yesterday's price ain't.
No, the Book It program is still there. Still doing it.
Book It. There it is.
Book It.
Do better Memphis then, because my kids ain't. Gaby never came on talking about Book It.
I know. They don't do it. They don't care.
These kids can't read. All they know about is filling in a bubble.
Pizza. Hour number 2 on the way. We're going to talk about them Grizzlies, including a little update on what's going on with the ticket sales. Went on general sale. I know we're going to get
live update.
I don't want to get into that too hard because I don't know if we can handle it.
I think got some new takes.
I don't know if these mics
slept
can
on some
handle
new takes yesterday.
I bet you did. Real Sports Star, Sports 56, 98.5.
Who's ready to spring clean and save some green?
Hunter Johnston
and Colin Johnston here from DeSoto Auto Sales.
This month we're on a mission
to help you cash in when you clean out your garage.
So stop making payments on a car that's ruining your life.
Because you could clean up in a nicer, newer car.
And possibly lower your monthly payment in the process.
It's out with the old and in with the new.
Only during our Spring Clean and Save Some Green sales event.
So dust off that old ride you hate driving.
And trade up when you bring it in today.
Because you could drive a nicer, newer car.
And possibly lower your monthly payment in the process.
Plus, our For the People credit approval process could be the fresh start you need.
So let's spring clean and save some green.
You could save up to $4,000 on a nicer, newer car, depending on the car you choose.
I'm Hunter.
And I'm Colin. And we're your dealers for the people.
See all my rides at DeSotoAutoSales.com.
That's DeSotoAutoSales.com.
Credit requires bank approval. Negative equity may be refinanced. Vehicle purchase price determines an actual discount. Offer absolutely expires on April 30th, 2022.
Anywhere fans go to cheer on their team, there are behind-the-scenes MVPs, ensuring everything is game day ready. We see you, Joe, fixing seats so every fan can enjoy every game. And Allie, who keeps her stadium running smoothly from the moment the first game starts to the last play of the season. At Grainger, you're our MVPs, and we're always here for you with supplies and solutions for every industry and 24/7 customer support. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Police officers know it only takes a few seconds of someone texting and driving for things to go terribly wrong. That's why officers are increasing enforcement of texting and driving laws. So put your phone down when driving, or be prepared for the consequences. You drive, you text, you pay. Paid for by NHTSA.
Bellyacre's motto is City-Fied Farm Fresh. The goal is simple: provide a fun, unique farm-to-table experience for the whole family. Two great locations, Regalia at 6130 Poplar and in Overton Square at 2102 Trimble Place. Overton Square hours Sunday through Thursday 11A to 9P. Friday and Saturday 11A to 10P. Regalia Sunday through Thursday 10:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday 10:30 a.m. to 11 p.m. Signature burgers are made from 100% grass-fed beef. Sandwiches, salads, and the best milkshakes anywhere. The burgers, so good, like the Dare Ya or the Double Dare Ya, and the melt in your mouth. And you have to try the Voodoo Moo Moo. It is the quality brand the Belly Acres team has developed using grass-fed beef with creative homemade toppings in a fun farm setting right here in the city. The goal at Belly Acres, to become even more sustainable as they grow. In Overton Square and in Regalia, the very best quality available in Memphis, burger shakes and smiles at Belly Acres.
Listen Sundays at 11 a.m. to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports 56 Grind Time. Here once again are Peter Edmiston and Anthony Sane.
Then we drive into the sunset. Pull over, get up on the hood, ma. I ain't done yet. On the telephone, she heard my voice. Tell me to pick her up.
You don't know about this, Peter.
I don't. I don't.
This is something you saw a lot during the early 2000s, where a record label would make a hit, and they're trying to make the second song sound a lot like the first song.
Yeah.
And often it didn't work.
I mean, I would say that was true of almost every time. You'd see record labels try to bite off that little magic situation.
They try to make the same song again, but a little different.
Nah, man, you can only catch lightning in a bottle once.
Yeah.
Maybe
Jay-Z and Pharrell did that a lot, because Change Clothes and
I heard
were the same exact song.
I heard Jay-Z's new whatever his new track is actually really good. He's best that he's been in a long time.
Old Hova.
Yeah.
Jay-Z got a new song?
Yeah, that's what I heard he's got something new and it's really good. I haven't checked it out, but I heard I was listening to the Streets. Streets were telling me. Streets talking.
You know what else is new?
They said old Hove.
I got something new for you.
I believe the term. Let me just say this, and tell me correct me if I'm wrong here. I believe the term was they said that a Hove was spitting. And is that right? Is that
twice two spitting?
Yeah, spitting. Yeah. Is that? Do you think that does that check out?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what y'all talking about.
Millennial-ish.
Jay-Z dropped a single for real?
I don't know. I hadn't
something. He dropped something.
Maybe something that ain't really
Some
official
bars.
yet.
Yeah, I mean, yes. Like I said, man. I just said the street update that I got was that Hove was spitting, and so on his on
featuring John Hart.
Yeah.
Hove and Hart.
But
no, please don't.
No.
That has nothing to do with that. No.
But Hove did that, so hopefully you don't have to go to that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I believe he's got a track with Roger Goodell. It's a hot new track.
Roger Goodell. Hey, you guys see the Liberty Bowl has a new name?
What? Oh yeah, it's the
absolutely. That's my new news. Yep, absolutely. What? The city has signed a naming rights agreement deal with Simmons Bank. 10 years.
Wait, no, this was this.
Dan, we talked about this 6 months ago.
Dan, this was literally like 6 months ago.
No, but
you just weren't paying attention, man. We already talked about them.
No, Mons. Okay, shout out to Mons.
It's official now, but yeah,
it's official. That's what I mean. Yeah, that's what I was meaning. It is official.
That's what you're meaning. Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
it's official. Then the numbers that coming. Did you guys have the numbers earlier too?
No,
I don't care.
Yeah, see, I got the numbers.
I don't care.
You're a numbers guy.
Who cares?
So now you don't like numbers?
Who cares?
Now, if we want to talk about old news, we didn't talk about the
broken news like Jalen Rose stole your news.
we didn't talk about speaking of poverty franchises, Tiger basketball. Nobody's
FedEx Forum is named FedEx Forum.
we never talked about nobody's going to Tiger games. But.
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about that. We could talk about that here just in a second because Grizzlies playoff tickets have gone on sale and apparently as of now basically are
sold out,
more or less sold out. Pretty much. I mean, like they're all the lower bowls sold out for the first two games, and most of the terrace and all that stuff is sold out as well. So
Tim Matt was right.
No, I mean
look at capitalism winning out.
You're still not right. But I mean, it doesn't just because people pay the price doesn't mean that it was right to do that. Just
Just hope they join Game 5.
I told you I don't care about the fact that they charge. It's more about just not telling people about it. It's not so much that you jack up the prices. It's just how they did it. And we didn't talk about it, but the report came out, I guess a few days ago, into last week, about the Tigers ticket situation and the turnstile counts for Tiger games this year at FedEx Forum, and the fact that they're not going to get their full allotment from the Grizzlies. They'll get part of it, but not the full allotment, because the full allotment comes if they were to average over 6,500 people through the turnstile count. And there's no turnstiles anymore, but it's a measure of the barcode scanned and all that stuff.
Well, technically, it is a turnstile, but the turnstile isn't counting the clicks. There's still a little thing there that
but not everybody goes through that.
Yeah, you do.
No, you don't. You don't go through it. You don't go through it.
I also don't count for a ticket either.
Yeah, you do.
No, I do not.
Yes, you do.
For real?
Yes.
No clue.
You count for a attended person. That's why they have you sign in, all that stuff.
For real?
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah. Man. If you're in that building, you count.
Even if you didn't pay for it.
Even if you didn't pay for it. That's right.
Well, a man robbed God, yet you robbed the Grizzlies.
You're nothing but a number. Social security number, your seat number, you're nothing.
I didn't know that. I didn't know we counted for their ticket cost.
Yeah, that's
for the ticket.
Yeah, that's why you count for the for everything. That's why they do it. They don't just take roll just because it's school.
So when I sneak Gabe in, does that count? Do they know that he's there?
Did you put him on the roll?
I've never sneaked Gabe in, by the way.
Did you? If you ever wrote him down, then he's not.
Look
counted.
at that.
When I open his door, Gabe come in.
So the turnstile count, the head count, the whatever you count, however you want to describe it, was under 6,500 for the University of Memphis. And in fact, they never. Even the most well-attended game this year, the final game against Houston, had a scan ticket total of just under 10,000. They never broke the 10,000 mark, 9,900 or so.
Yeah, it's wild.
Now, I've seen a lot, and I think there's, to some extent, you have to look at the COVID backlash, especially early in the season. There were still issues. Some people did not want to be vaccinated, and so there were vaccination policies in place. There were, stuff like that. So I mean, you got to factor that in. But still, I was stunned by that, man. This year that was so hyped, and so much attention being paid, and so much promise and possibility, and all that stuff. And there's a lot of talk about how this is a Tiger town, and I just that's crazy to me.
It's just not true.
What's not true? The ticket count, or that it's a Tiger town?
The Tiger town thing, like I said, when people want to argue with me, is that it's a dinosaur, man. Like that's just not. It's the big Bronchiosaurus or whatever that's walking around now, but that joint's about to be extinct, man. Like
you're thinking of like a brontosaurus. Or...
That's what I say, bronchitis.
Bronchitis, yeah,
That's what it is. That mother got bronchitis.
It's a big bronchitis out
That's
here.
what it is. It's a
bronchitisaurus.
But no, man. It's like, here's the thing. Like, if you look at those numbers, like if you look at television, you see a pretty full arena on these games that are big games, but you're not getting the upper decks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to preach to y'all today, man. You got to get the upper deck people in your city, man. Like they've captured the people in the lower bowl, but the more diverse, the working class, the broke, you know what I mean? You're not
working class.
They don't care. Like they
just want to be there.
There's a lot of people in the city of Memphis that they became very indifferent about Tiger basketball. And when you've got a superstar, not in the making, when you've got a current NBA superstar, one of the leading jersey sellers, a guy who makes road games, home games, and Ja Morant, that could be dangerous for Tiger basketball, man. They got to figure out a way to do it. And it can't be, the Jack Pearl's chicken dance and 4, I mean, all that's good. 3, to celebrate the 4 3-pointers we make every game. 2 or 3. I mean, they have to find a way to. They're riding off of old merits, and those old merits are getting old, and you haven't captured the kids. And I hate to use. I'm going to use my own son as the only case study in this, but you know what I mean. Like Gabe is a basketball fanatic. He's made himself into a basketball fanatic through YouTube, video games, things like that. does not give a crap. And I've tried everything everything in me to get him to care about Tiger basketball. He just don't. He
Do
won't.
you think if he had NCAA to play, he would care? Like
the
college
video games
the
do
video
matter.
game?
Video games do matter.
Uh-huh.
Especially if
Well,
you can get some names on there.
It definitely matters, but I would also say a part of it is also that the arena, the configuration is weird. There's there's not enough lower and club seats. The terrace is too big, and the back end of the terrace is not like I've been up there for a few events, and it's not like it's fine, but it's not where you wouldn't. Unless it's a major thing or you're a huge fan, you probably wouldn't want to go and hang out at that terrace when you could just watch it at home. Like the terrace, the upper ends of the terrace is just kind of like
gloomy.
It's dark. There's not that many. There's not that many like concessions up there. There's not that the attitude's not that. I mean, it's just kind of like they don't. You feel like you're kind of a second-class citizen up there. The club level's like, hey man, this is where action is.
You hurry up that way from over there.
All this stuff going on. And then like at the top, it's like, oh, I'm gonna go get a hot dog from like, I gotta walk like 3 concourses over to get a hot dog, a crappy whatever, No, there's not much happening in that upper. And then you walk up to the very like, if you're in the top half of the terrace, and like half the seats are in the terrace, like 9,000 seats or whatever up there. That's a lot of seats. And the upper part of those seats sucks big time. The bottom part of the terrace, like, okay, fine.
Yeah.
That's still pretty high up there, but the upper is depressing.
XYZ.
I mean, it's not. That is not where you want to be for a game. So that's part of it. Part of it, the way they built the arena, just kind of it's not configured the greatest. But that being said, obviously the Grizzlies are showing you that if you have a good enough product, you can still sell those tickets. The Tiger product hasn't been that compelling. I was told for years that didn't matter because Tiger fans were so loyal that they would just and I'm not seeing that. I see no evidence of that.
And like I said, we understand COVID. COVID has affected both sides. But that Houston game, come on, man. Yeah. You didn't get 10,000 in there?
No, that was after the COVID stuff. That was after all that.
Yeah.
That was no. You can't tell me. No.
Did the Alabama game draw more?
No, that was the largest game.
Biggest one was
the largest game was the Houston game, and it wasn't even 10,000. So I mean, either you giving away a bunch of seats or, and I've heard some Tiger people be like, well, those turnstiles they don't, or the clickers don't work and the numbers are wrong.
Man,
and all that. Hey,
they've been fighting that tooth and nail.
If that were the case, you would see, because it's costing them a lot of money. So you would see them really go after it. Like, okay, we got to really get after. We go to take it to court, take it whatever. Like if you go from $450,000, $500,000 to $800,000, $300,000 is nothing to sneeze at if it's a mistake, if it's not real. But you don't see that because I think it is real. And the bigger question is, what does that mean? What does that mean going forward? I've always heard the same thing about Tiger football and all this. Like it's supposed to be this sleeping giant. They've had some amazing years, and the crowds are not like overwhelming. Like they're okay, they're solid, but they're not like unbelievably massive. Save for a few key moments, key games. That SMU game with game day and all that stuff. Those there's a key game here and there. But for the most part, you're talking between 30 and 40,000.
Yeah, man.
And the same thing seems to be true with basketball, where I heard it's basketball town, it's Tiger Town, all that. Well, the numbers don't lie.
I'm worried, man, because
I mean, you got Penny, you got what else could you possibly have to make people come out to this thing? Like, I mean, this is you got a native, a Memphian, the most famous basketball player, arguably in the history.
Season, with all the hype this season.
But I mean, like the guy that's leading the program is arguably the biggest name. Some of you like Larry Finch, but like he's up there. He's up there.
No,
nobody had the stardom that Penny did. Nobody. And he's leading the way, and you got these big time names, and you're still getting 6,000 on average.
Yeah,
man, that's.
Yeah, I get COVID, but
yeah, I get COVID. I get like people. The attendance doesn't mean as much as it used to. People aren't. It still matters to me that you got to get. Like, Kentucky's had some bad years. That's still 20,000 people in Rupp Arena every game. If they're playing Mount St. Mary's or they're playing, Tennessee, they're still 20,000.
Yeah.
So I can't buy if you're a blue blood, be a blue blood. Is Kansas ever like? Do they have just like a few little scrabbling crowds? No, they got their kid that gets Kansas. Like if you want to be in that department, you gotta act like it.
Are you ready for the men and women's Tiger basketball doubleheaders at the Fieldhouse?
Stop it.
This is
Stop it.
This is what I'm talking about. This man says he loves you. This man says he loves University of Memphis. I don't know.
When the Grizzlies put out their
this man says he loves the
their
University
poverty tenants. When their broke tenants finally get
Why don't you
kicked
just get a
out.
billboard outside and draw people that way?
Yeah, I could just put a.
Why don't you just put a billboard outside?
Tiger need to just hire me.
Penny. What else?
Need to hire me for brand marketing to recreate the image. It needs some recreating, man. Because your highlight is my boy saying 4 and Pirtle's chicken run, chicken dance. That's all you got.
You see what your buddy Isaac Simpson doing with his seats? Says section 232 row K. He's asking $200 for a pair of them, way up at the top.
Yeah, all right.
It's his playoff game, games 1 and 2.
Hey, if you can get it.
He said these are the cheapest you'll find.
And I'm gonna say this while we're still on this Tiger thing. Of course, I was joking about the Fieldhouse thing. Martin says it's about winning. Cal had about 15,000 in there against Rice on a Tuesday. And here's another thing too. Cal also understood the marketing aspect of getting people in those seats. Cal had the thing where he was giving away TVs to people in the top, right? That's the thing. Like Peter said, you got to conquer the top. Like you're gonna get the bottom. Yes. You're gonna get the bottom, period. But you got to find a way to conquer the top.
I've said that many times. In many different situations.
Yeah, you
got
to
remodel
the bottom.
that, y'all. Can they remodel
but
that?
You got to conquer the top.
You got to find a way to just get people up there, man. Like,
no, man. You know what I'm saying? You got to conquer that bottom.
Yeah, you got to.
You got to get the bottom.
You got to get a firm grip.
You
got to get a firm grip on
the
that
bottom. Is very important. You got to start with the bottom.
Yeah.
You know, once you get a hold of that bottom.
Oh yeah.
Everything else stabilized.
Then you can work on the top.
You
at
gotta
that
say,
point.
give me that donkey bottom.
Yeah.
That upper tier.
Yeah, you got to say I ain't too proud to beg. Ain't no shame in this game. Like you got to get get out there. Got to break it down and beg like Penny Hardaway. Whatever it is.
Yeah.
Donkey button a big old leg.
Because I know a lot of fans in Hollywood fill up seats. You know what I'm saying? Do it real good.
Like they should.
Yeah, you got to do that, man. You got to find them people, man.
So y'all are basically saying the Grizz and the Tigers need a new stadium.
Yeah. Come back when Penny played for the Magic. He said he had to have it. You know what I mean? But
said he had to.
Hey, but like seriously, man, like
ticks.
Does it real good? Give me free ticks. Does it real good? No, but seriously, man, I am concerned about the future of Tiger basketball. Like I don't see the next wave of fans coming. Like,
well, especially if you have some kind of a significant sanction.
Yeah, exactly. That could hurt as well.
That's going to wipe out a little. And if that forces the university's hand and forces Penny out, then you're going to have to start fresh. And I mean, it's if they have a show cause and they keep Penny, that's going to add to the punishment because you have to show a show cause means you have to show that person is the right and that's clearly not going to work in the case of keeping him around.
Dude.
I mean, it's I hate to say it, but like I'm just.
But I just remember as a kid.
Where are we? Like, what are we going to do? Like,
I remember as a kid, Elliot Perry being a basketball god to me, and Penny being a basketball god. Like, and it's just like, John Moran is in this city, man. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, you got to figure out some way to make those games more appealing. You got to figure out a way to get people in those seats, period.
And Zion on the way.
Well, listen.
Yeah, you got Zion coming.
Since you've talked about your anecdotal evidence involving your child, allow me to my anecdotal evidence involving my father.
Okay.
Who is 82 and is not at all interested in basketball. Doesn't really care about sports anymore. He's the age he's like he doesn't really care about anything. He's just like I want to watch, old detective shows and
Matlock, baby.
That's what he wants to do. He's interested in. He watches National Geographic and he watches and he every week or so he calls me. Where are the Grizzlies? What channel are they on? I'm like, Dad, I don't have your. I think it's like. Let me look it up.
Yeah, I don't know what regular cable looks like.
Well, I don't know. And especially his cable is different. Yeah. He's got some kind of thing. I was like, let me look it up. I was like, okay, it's like 1670 or something.
Yeah.
He's like, what? I don't channel 4 numbers. What is that? Oh, okay, I don't know, Dad. I was like, it's got a
type it in, old man.
It's got a guide. Just go through the guide, and eventually you'll find it. And he's like, man, I just love watching these Grizzlies, man. They're crazy. Like I don't know what they're gonna do. This Ja He's 82. He doesn't like to watch anything. And he's actively. I haven't talked to him.
Man.
I didn't talk to him about it. He calls me and he's like, man, did you see Ja? Like, that's wild to me. Like, he never, at no point during the core four did he ever, like, hey, man, these Grizzlies are never.
Yeah.
Never was like, man, that Mike Conley is something else. Or, oh, man, that Marc Gasol is something else. Never once. My 82-year-old dad, he's like, wow, Ja Morant, wow, that's fun. Like, I love watching that team. What? You don't like watching anything.
Yeah. I promise
This man literally watches, like, in the heat of the night.
Hey, MASH in the heat of the night.
Like, in the heat of the night. Like, he might pop on like an
little
old
Perry
Western.
Mason.
Yeah, a little Perry Mason.
Perry Mason.
Yeah, a little a little something like that. Maybe a little Quantum Leap if we're getting crazy out there. You know, he loves his procedurals. And then he'll watch the Grizzlies. Like, he goes out of his way. Never once has he mentioned anything about the Tigers, ever.
Yeah. It's tough, man.
The Tigers have got to be very careful because they are.
They're gonna be playing in the field house, Brett.
Hearts and minds. Hearts and minds.
They're playing in the field house.
Double hitters in the field house.
It's gonna be a double header.
No, but seriously, hearts and minds. Like, the hearts and minds of the young kids, and apparently even some of the old folks like my dad, which is crazy. That's all drifting away, and I don't get the sense that they fully understand that. I don't think they're taking that seriously. But I think if you get a thing that says turnstile counts never got over 10,000 at any point, that should be like a huge red flag. Like, we got problems. We had the final game of the year, Houston. All this momentum, all this perfect. The timing was great. Sunday, like mid-morning, like everybody could plan for it. Weather was good. All that. No COVID restrictions. No mask. Anybody that had any of that, whatever. And you got 9,900. That. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Got another.
I gotta hit the button on that one. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
It's a serious problem.
And meanwhile, the Grizzlies have sold out playoff tickets at like twice the price that they were
last year.
And they've sold them out. So don't tell me people won't pay. They'll pay if they believe in the product.
You gotta get the product together.
That's the question.
And it's not just as simple as winning, man, because like I said, that Houston game definitely should have had more people this year.
Yeah.
Definitely should have had more people, man. Like, like this. Yeah, at that point.
Man, you got billboards. Go and talk to the new president, man.
Yeah.
University of Memphis has a new president. You got a billboard. Go and talk to the new president, man.
I got pictures.
See what you got. See what you can pull
I might
off.
do
man.
that, man.
Tell that president to fill us lower class people or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely a disconnect, man. And Martin says on the AutoZone text line, listener line, he says, I know y'all have talked about it before, but the demographics between the Tigers and Grizzlies fans are totally different. That's the thing. You got to get the crossover, man. It just can't be blue hairs forever. You got to cross it over where it's a younger, more racially and culturally diverse crowd.
And I hope this doesn't sound weird. I want to ask this to Pete. Pete, you said there's about 9,000 seats up at the top, right?
Yep.
Can we remodel that to kind of?
You could, but it would be
those?
very expensive.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. That's what $300 million.
Robert Perry ain't cutting no check for
man, got 16B
for his old poverty tenants he got in his building.
But that's the way you do it. You remodel
the
it and
Grizzlies are
drop
going to need to do it for themselves. But but yes,
they do.
But if you're there should be a lot more seats on the lower bowl and reconfiguration of that middle part because those are really good seats. They're just not enough of them and so it can really be deceptive because it can look like on TV if you don't show that upper part, if you curtained off the top part and you just show the bottom part.
Looks like you got
it looks like it's loud and it looks good and all that, but you're really not generating. You're not getting the butts in the seats. And
still got your 9,900.
you got to have a tush every 18 inches or so if you're gonna really start.
Ooh, that joint gonna be a madhouse game 1 of the playoffs though.
Oh,
sell out.
Ooh, crazy. All right, we'll come back. Speaking of that, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about last night. Grizzlies, we haven't gotten into the game last night in the loss to the Jazz. We'll talk about it when we continue here. Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 98.5.
You have opinions?
What do you hear? What do you say?
We want to hear them. Call or text us on the AutoZone listener line at 360-8255. That's the AutoZone listener line at 901-360-8255.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Brian Elders Roofing Solutions.
If you have damage to your home and have your insurance carrier involved, you need a great contractor. You also need a team that has seen claims of all shapes and sizes, residential or commercial. After our inspection, we'll share our findings and give you our professional opinion. Some people say you get what you pay for. However, our opinion is free. Trust the name you can depend on, like the tens of thousands of families Brian and I have served over the past 20 years here in the Mid-South. Brian Elder Roofing. We'll measure your roof from outer space and share our team's experience for your property and claim. Repaired roofs, replacement roofs, big roofs, tiny roofs, insurance roofs, flat roofs, TPO roofs, asphalt roofs, tile roofs, slate roofs, metal roofs. If your roof needs some love, call me. 901-867-0303 for Brian Elder Roofing and Contracting.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Hey, you! Ever wanted to learn a language like French or Spanish or even Norwegian, but thought it'd be too difficult or time-consuming? Then try Babbel. Quick 10-minute lessons.
Siesta.
Bambola. Games, podcasts, even live online classes with a real teacher.
Hola, clase.
In no time, chatting about real-life topics will feel, well, effortless. Learn a new language with ease. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's Babbel.com.
Welcome to Triumph Auto Sales, where you'll have a great car buying experience. Triumph Auto Sales is your #1 source of quality pre-owned vehicles ranging from lease returns to new car trades, all at huge savings. Plus, Triumph has a full array of financing options to meet your needs. Find your next car online at TriumphAutoSales.com or stop in today at 4875 Elmore Road. Triumph Auto Sales will help you get the vehicle you want at the price you need and the service you deserve. For a great car and a great experience from a local and family-owned business, visit Triumph Auto Sales.
Swerving, speeding, and reckless driving can leave you in your own dust. Drag racing has its consequences. You can lose your driving privileges, your vehicle, face jail time, or even lose or take a life. So slow down, Memphis. The life you save may be your own. Brought to you by the Memphis Police Department, Traffic Operations.
Now, back to Sports 56 Grind Time. Here once again are Peter Edmiston and Anthony Sane.
Hey. There you go.
You know, and you know, it's like we were talking the Tiger situation and all that.
What you looking at me?
David's text is very good. David's text says on the AutoZone listener line, 360-8255, David says, if the product on the floor is exciting and worth people spending their hard-earned money on it, people will come. Last season, the product was very poor and frustrating to watch. Hell, my work has tickets in the lower bowl, and I sometimes didn't want to go.
Man. Hey, we talked about yesterday about going to Grizzlies games for free. I have the ability to go to Tiger basketball games for free. Did not go to a single Tiger basketball game this year. Even when they went on the run, they won. Did you go to any at all?
No.
I went to a preseason game, and I saw some weird lineups. Like, all right.
And you are.
I'll check back in on this.
But I mean, like, you are a Tiger fan.
Yeah, I fool with him. Yeah,
I'm a Tiger fan.
Yeah. I'm a very disinterested Tiger fan.
You're a Penny fan.
Yeah.
And a Tiger fan.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've told everybody, I'm not really a college basketball fan, you know, really. I mean, I'll watch it and cover it, obviously, whatever. But, like, it's like, if I'm a fan, am I going to turn on a random college basketball game to watch? Probably not. Maybe a little bit. I don't know. Depends on who's playing. If there's some kid that might be drafted, I might watch to see how he does. But if I'm going to watch kids being drafted, I'm just going to pull it up on, like, Synergy or something and, like, watch the highlights. I'm not going to sit there and, you know, do that. It's just not I'm not into it. But I'll watch NBA games all day. I prefer the NBA. It's a different product. So I don't use myself as a. The reason I bring that up is I don't use myself as a thing. But I use you because you're a Tiger guy.
Yeah.
And you're just like
grew up on these.
You're
dudes.
just not really. Even with Penny there, it's just not. It just hasn't grabbed you.
Yeah.
It just hasn't grabbed you the way that it normally would.
I'm cheering for the turnaround, but right now it's looking real bleak over there, man. It's looking Memphis bleak. Texas says so weird. Like sometimes we predict stuff that's gonna get a lot of people to chime in. ton of people chimed in on this on the AutoZone listener line. Texture from a Mississippi area code says the Tigers are at a disadvantage compared to the Grizzlies. As an Ole Miss fan living in South Haven, I will go to a Grizzlies game, but I'm not going to a Tigers game. There's some of that, but you're talking about years on top of years and decades on top of decades of tradition with Tiger basketball.
No, clearly, not everybody in Memphis is going to be a University of Memphis fan per se, but there should be enough of them in a city as big as Memphis with as many alums and everybody else around here that should not be an issue. I mean, the overall fan base that you draw from the Grizzlies are a bigger regional draw. Obviously, you're getting, especially with Ja and the stardom of the team now, you're getting people coming in from, Nashville, Little Rock, Birmingham, St. Louis, all that. The people are driving in, Jackson, all that stuff. They're driving in from all over. That's going to happen with the Grizzlies more so than the Tigers. And you're getting Steph Curry and Giannis and Embiid and Luka and whoever, Devin Booker and all these other. You're getting stars coming into play. There's not really those same level of stars in college basketball, so it's different. I do think that the NBA has changed the star level a little bit. There's a reason why. I don't know off the top of my head. I'm just trying to so somebody can help me with this because I'm genuinely
go ahead.
I genuinely do not know the
That's
answer
what I'm
to
here
this.
for, to help.
Okay, somebody besides Darian. Do you genuinely? I do want some help. Is there a market with a professional basketball team that still gets good crowds and has big level interest for their college team? Houston.
I think we're the only one.
Houston is like they don't get. I mean, they have a much smaller arena, and their fans are into it. But it's not like Houston's not a major.
Houston ain't competing with the Rockets.
No, and if you go read the newspaper in Houston, it's way down the list of Houston University of Houston basketball. Even though they've gone to the Final Four and Elite Eight, and all, I mean they're having
1A, 1B.
They're having historically great run.
What about the Pacers at Indiana University?
Indiana's not in Indianapolis.
Okay.
It's in Bloomington, a little different area.
Man,
same city, same.
Yeah, same
I'm talking
exact.
about same city because Bloomington's it's a different deal. Chicago, DePaul, University of Illinois, Chicago. They're not really.
No,
Loyola draws
They're not.
bigger
I
than
mean,
DePaul.
Loyola, Chicago. New Orleans, Tulane doesn't do anything. Orlando has UCF. UCF doesn't really, in terms of college basketball, really in much. Atlanta, Georgia Tech, that has kind of dropped off. They could maybe be in the mix certain years. Maybe you could say Georgia Tech, but again, they're not. Their arena's not big. They're not filling up who's trying to fill up a actual NBA level arena. Milwaukee and Marquette. I mean that might be up there in some years.
Marquette
maybe
plays at Fiserv.
Yeah, or they did. They used to play. They played the Bradley Center and they play. Yeah, they still play at Fiserv. I think most of their games. I think they play some elsewhere. But yeah, they typically share an arena with the Bucks.
I think it's a problem across.
That's pretty much it. No one in the Northeast really.
Yeah, definitely not Northeast teams.
So I think
Lakers,
Cincinnati.
UCLA.
Cincinnati doesn't have Cincinnati doesn't have an NBA team. You're talking a team that's an NBA team, and Oklahoma City even they don't. It's not the same.
UCLA basketball. If they're good, are they competing? No, they're not competing with the Lakers.
No, it's different. It's different. I mean, they do care and they get a lot, but it's Pauley Pavilion. It's a much smaller venue. They're not. It's just. I think it's impossible once you start getting an NBA because you have so many NBA games. You have 41 home games a year. You have, and those 41 home games involve lots more stars, lots more star power. You see a higher quality of basketball. Sorry, college basketball fans. It's just the way it is. I think once that genie's out of the bottle, you ain't going back.
Yeah, and I think it could also be a problem that's just kind of points the finger at college basketball anyway. I think they need rule changes. I think they kind of need to just adjust their game some type of way to make it more aesthetically pleasing. Because I'll say all the time, outside the NCAA tournament, I'm not watching college basketball for pleasure outside of watching a Tiger game. I don't watch it for entertainment because I'm just not entertained by it. I mean, and even in the NCAA tournament, when I saw this particular game, I was sitting in my couch and I was like, all right, this is why me and college basketball just have to part ways at times. Villanova and Houston in the Elite Eight. Final score was 50-44. That's the second quarter score in the NBA. Yeah. Mid-second quarter. You know what I mean? They have to find a way to just make it more appealing, man. Because and I was talking to a friend of mine. He was like, "Oh, it's just better defense." No, it's just not. It's not better defense. Guys don't get worse at defending the basketball in the NBA. Like, it's just not a good product, and I'm okay with saying it. And I just think that like simple rule changes could make college basketball a lot better. As far as the Tigers, of course, I'm joking about the field house thing, but those numbers are discouraging, man. Like that, especially with the hype that came into this season. I'm also, I totally get the whole COVID thing, but I just still kind of feel like that it would be more. It should be more than what we're seeing. We should have had at least. For sure. We should have had more games that had more.
If it was a real thing, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I think that genie's out of the bottle. I think you've got to do something different. You look at a team like Georgia Tech. Text in Georgia Tech says Georgia Tech does great. Go Jackets! They play in a 9,500 seat building, McCormick Pavilion or Arena. They play. It's a 9,500 seat venue. And they don't even sell it out. They're usually,
Are they on campus?
Yeah.
They are on campus too, right? Yep.
I mean that's part of it. But like,
I got one more. What about Villanova? In Philly, the Saints said Villanova.
Yeah, Villanova.
Villanova in the 76ers.
But again, I don't. Villanova. What's their attendance normally? Like, I mean, people care about Villanova, but they don't. They're not a.
Two national championships.
Yeah. No, it's not. But it's not about that.
Yeah, they should fill it up.
It's about.
I don't think Villanova gets Villanova had a bad season, we're going to boo Jay Wright. Like, I don't get that like the 76ers get. I think they're pretty passive about that whole thing. I don't know, man. Memphis feels unique to me. The fact that, like, as far as sports go, Tiger Athletics and the Grizzlies are 1A, 1B. Like, they're almost rivaling each other as far as attention goes. Because, like, right now, like, if the Grizzlies could be in the middle of a great season, like this season, the Grizzlies were in the middle of a great season. The Tigers went on a 6-7 game winning streak.
Just eclipsed the Tigers.
And then it's just I'm saying when the Tigers won that winning streak, everybody was, oh man, we got to put the focus back on the Tigers. Like it's like the city's waiting for them to take off, and those waiting streaks have just been few and far between.
So I mean, you have plenty of opportunities to watch games. You have plenty of opportunities for all this stuff. Villanova plays most of their games. Don't they play? They play in like a 6,500 seat venue.
And I think they share their venue, if I'm not mistaken.
So, like, that's what they do. They play in a. So yeah, of course the crowd's gonna be great. And in the ACC, around the ACC, you see like North Carolina, get the Dean Dome's got 20,000. They typically get 20,000. Tennessee's had big numbers lately. Syracuse gets a bunch in the Carrier Dome. Again, all these don't directly compete with NBA teams. They just don't. They don't do it. Creighton gets big numbers. Well, again, Creighton's in the middle of nowhere. What else are you gonna do in Creighton?
I looked up
Iowa
Arizona too. Arizona's an hour and a half away from Tucson.
Yeah. Tucson is not as far away from
Phoenix.
And even Tempe, Arizona State is a little bit different. They're closer and just outside of Phoenix. But like,
where does Houston play? I mean, how big is the arena? I mean,
it's not. It's in the thousands.
Fertitta Center.
It's nice, but it's small. So
here you go, Pete. I know where to get them in the stands. Hold on, here you go.
Yeah, if you had Michael Jordan, sure. Fertitta Center, they play in the Fertitta Center. It's like 10,000, like capacity. Again, maybe not even that. I think it's less than that. The point is that there's not any that I know of any team that is trying to do what Memphis is trying to do. The University of Memphis is trying to do, where you're trying to compete straight up in the same arena, and then it's the nature of it. Like, they're the tenant; they have to do it that way.
Yeah.
They don't get first crack at some of the dates. There are legal issues. They have to have 17 home games. There are definitely some factors that are limiting for them to some degree, but that's only to some degree. You got to go out and do more and be better and be more compelling if you're going to try to compete in that same arena, and it just doesn't happen, doesn't appear as if it's going to happen, and it's kind of trending.
How many seats would what's the name have? The youth center that Darius is. Darius says is going to shut down in 2 years.
Yeah,
put them over there.
Keith texts in, by the way. Keith texts in and says the Final Four arena was crazy. It almost looked flat from top to bottom. That's how they do it at the domes. That was in the the Superdome in New Orleans. And the domes always have like flatter because they're larger, and it's a football configuration, so it's kind of a longer, flatter out. That's why they raise the court to get a little higher so people can see. If you could get, I mean, that's a 50 or 60,000 seat venue, sure. I mean, whatever. There's a way. There are other. If you've been to other NBA arenas, there are definitely ways to expand out the level of lower bowl seats. In Indianapolis, they've done it with their field house. Atlanta's, the State Farm Center definitely does that.
State Farm is
dope.
freaking dope.
State Farm is amazing.
You hear me? Dope. Get your haircut in there, baby. Why not?
It's amazing. It's a really, really, really good venue. So a lot of the other venues, even when I remember going to Oklahoma City, and it's not a great building, but it has a better configurations for us. There just aren't that many lower bowl and the mid-level seats. There's 2 levels of suites, which is fine. The courtside suites and the upper suites, that's cool, and you can still keep that. I mean, most arenas have something like that now, but you got to find a way to make some of these seats better. I'm not saying you got to put them all in the lower bowl. Maybe expand the club. But those top third of the seats, the top probably 3,000 or 4,000 seats at the top of the building, have got to be better.
I got an idea to fix
Come on,
everything.
baby. Come on.
And I think Robert Perry is the guy that can fix it, man. A technology-based guy.
All right, we'll tell you what.
We'll talk about it after the break.
Hold on, let's take a break. We'll hold off on that, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about it because I love ideas. I love ideas. I'm an idea man.
Do you?
I love ideas. So let's hear it. I want to hear what Robert Perry could do. We'll do that next. Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 98.5.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Yes, it's still winter. Yes, it's still cold outside. But Family Leisure wants you to start thinking towards spring and maybe even summer. So Family Leisure's pool and patio sale is happening right now. Come to Family Leisure to get started on your outdoor living space. Yes, I know it's cold and dreary outside, but this is the perfect time to think ahead. Pools are in stock and ready to go. Brand new 2022 patio furniture is hitting the floor each and every day. In-stock hot tubs are ready for delivery. You can get fantastic deals on play gyms, trampolines, grills, and outdoor kitchens. I know you are already looking forward to spring and summer, and so does Family Leisure. But if you sit on the couch too long, the best deals will be gone. So don't wait until it's too late. Stop thinking about spring and summer. Start planning for it. The pool and patio sale is in season right now. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road. That's Whitten at I-40, where family and fun all come together.
Hi, folks. Bob Burkham for Sunrise Buick GMC Truck. Lots of vehicles to choose from at Sunrise. Trucks, SUVs, certified late model used cars, and cars under $10,000. At Sunrise, we specialize in low monthly payments and secondary financing. Come on in, call, or go online to sunrisememphis.com. Schedule an appointment, select your vehicle, appraise your trade-in, arrange financing and delivery. We'll deliver right to your doorstep. All cars inspected and ready to go. Need service or body work? Bring it to Sunrise or go online to schedule an appointment. Sunrise, Covington Pike, Wolf Chase, and Collierville.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
Now, back to Sports 56 Grind Time. Here once again are Peter Edmiston and Anthony Sane.
There you go. Yeah.
How much money you got? How much money you got? How much money?
Build us a new arena. This is for Robert Perry. How much money you got?
How much money you got?
I messed around and called Robert Perry my owner. When I was on with Hart today, I said, yeah, you fix that immediately. You don't own me.
That mentality, baby, is grained in you.
Yeah, man, just slave mentality, man.
Sure. Couple of days after the 54th anniversary of Martin Luther King, man, what's wrong with you?
Got to open that third eye.
Yeah, man, I can open my third eye, man. Put some Visine in that joint.
Or grab the base of it and hold it tight. Y'all so crazy.
Yeah.
But I was saying, I got the problem solved, man. We got Robert Perry as the owner of the team. He's a tech guy. This is what we're going to do, Peter. I got 2 options to fix the sideline problem with the Grizzlies.
I like I said, I love your ideas.
Number 1, if you're sitting in the lower bowl, those seats come built in with an Oculus. We're going to put you down on the floor. Like, you put those on, we're going to have you in the metaverse. You're gonna
price is going up.
Level?
Yeah, if you're in the upper
said
bowl.
The lower bowl. So
you said lower bowl.
You sitting in the upper bowl. We're gonna get you. You go. You either bring your own, or we're gonna supply you an Oculus.
How many of those Oculus? I'm gonna make it back, but carry on.
Yeah. Can we?
A little Bobo them up.
Wait, we're coming up short every game. What's going on here?
Can we sanitize those joints?
These Oculus. Wait, hey, bring your own Oculus, man. You bring your own Oculus, you're gonna be sitting on the floor.
There's always a knockoff, so it's a $5 Oculus somewhere.
Innocuous.
Innocuous is what I'm doing. Yeah, exactly. Innocuous.
Exactly. That's idea number 1. Number 2, imagine FedEx Forum. Hey, give me my music, man. Give me my choral real fast. Man.
Imagine FedEx Forum.
You want something quick or you want the choral?
This the one, right? Give me choral, man. I gotta have choral, man.
Easy,
Because there's gonna be some associations on this one.
Imagine
it's gonna be some association with
Grizzlies playing
in virtual reality. It may make eating bad, or like making sure your kids are okay, because you can't actually see nothing.
I know, yeah, your kids are gonna be just running around.
So just get kidnapped.
People jumping up, people score,
Picture your kids
slam into each other. You can't see nothing.
Somebody pissed my son.
It's a terrible idea.
Yeah. All right. Here's my other idea. The Memphis Grizzlies, in association with what's Robert Perry's company called?
Ubiquity.
In
association with Ubiquity.
Present the hologram floating on top of the court.
Zebo hologram?
No. It's gonna be a hologram, like the game is gonna be happening down on the bottom, right? But if you look in your right in front of you sight, it's gonna be a projected hologram of the whole game, where you see the game just like you're sitting on the court.
I'm gonna tell you something. I think you are dead on, but I think you got the wrong. I think you're barking up the wrong tree.
All right.
That is the new TV. In 15, 20 years, it's gonna be, instead of watching the TV flat here, it's gonna be on
in your living room.
on like a
augmented reality
table, and it's gonna be, you're just gonna see the players moving.
Oh, okay. Now I see. Okay.
Like
Okay.
Almost like a live action
stick figure-ish. Almost.
No, not stick. No, like you're gonna see like the players.
Okay.
And they're gonna be like doing. It's just gonna be like you were watching them, like in your house doing the thing.
Yeah, it's just like you at the game, man. Like
nobody's going to these games. in 20 years, it's gonna be at your house, just doing whatever.
Especially if they walking in listening to this. Turn right back around.
Man, you just got to make it experience.
Does that include Kings of the Court?
And you got to make it. Absolutely. That's going to be the
the Martin Luther Kings
Martin Luther Kings of the Court are going to be live and doing their thing.
I still feel like we need to make a serious free agent.
I can't believe they didn't.
To Jaylen Brown.
I can't believe they didn't.
With that.
They didn't use my idea for that one.
Because they totally ran with our, hey, just play some local freaking music.
Yeah. And that's all. I don't think I was too. And then they got my man
put
DJ,
Mike T.
whatever. And
Mike T.
Mike T. Yeah.
They put Mike T. on the court.
It's great. It's great.
That.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That.
Got to censor everything, but still, like the vibe.
Yeah, that's right.
The vibe is real.
This.
Like you go and it's a fun vibe.
You feel like you're in Memphis.
The Tigers could have utilized our 2 big recruits more, too. We didn't see them. Like, no meet and greets, no, hey, no nothing.
I'm tired of giving the Tigers ideas, man.
I'm with you.
Because they already just
Jalen Rose just going to steal them and put them back out on you.
They just stole, what's the name? They stole Whoop That Trick. Like, no, stop playing Whoop That Trick, the Tiger games. Football and basketball.
So how the edited versions go with the game? How they go?
Did this.
They know.
Let me see you.
Let me see you.
So just skipping?
Yeah.
I think that is so funny we all did that.
Oh, yeah. When I say weak, you say.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
When I say weak, you like everyone's like
weak.
What? What do I say? When I say what, you say good.
Lee Reader, Weekly Reader. What are we doing? Weekend at Bernie's. What is it?
That man say a weekly reader.
When I say weekly, you say reader. Weekly. Weekly. Yeah, that's good. But you have hit on the fun aspect of it, which they do not necessarily fall. Now, part of it is not their fault. They don't have John Moran and this whole team. Like that's
right.
Nobody's got that.
Because if I hear swag serving one more time at a Tiger game, I promise I'm gonna walk out.
But no, you'd have to walk in before you walk out.
Right.
Walk out of your house.
Can't protest from the house.
Right. Where are you walking out from? Last night, speaking of the Grizzlies, they lose to the Jazz. I don't think it's anything to be too concerned about. To go into Utah. Actually, the Grizzlies did not really play especially well. They played reasonably hard, but they didn't play especially well, and still managed to take the Jazz to overtime. Again, this kind of tells you how far the Jazz have fallen and how much the Grizzlies have risen. This Grizzlies team without John Morant, with Jaren Jackson Jr., who, you look at the numbers, you say, 28.7 rebounds, 3 blocks, like that's pretty good, but then 8 of 27 shooting, not so great. Desmond Bane, again, not super efficient. Grizzlies not super efficient overall. Shot under 39% from the field. Turned the ball over a little more than they're used to. Tyus Jones had a turnover, for crying out loud. I mean, can you believe that? 1 turnover from that? That's horrible. Bench him. And yet, despite that, and despite the fact that Utah, shot better from all phases except for free throws, out rebounded the Grizzlies, out points in the paint the Grizzlies, which is extremely unusual. Grizzlies normally kill everybody in the paint. Despite all that, Grizzlies could have won the game if Tyus Jones had hit just a easy little layup and he just kind of bricked the finger roll right at the when they give the Grizzlies a 1-point lead late in regulation. So you lose the game again. It doesn't really matter. The Grizzlies are locked in the 2 spot, and I thought they played hard. It happens. To me, nothing to worry about.
Yeah, not at all, man. I love to see. I really hate they lost only because that would have capped I wouldn't wish they had won in regulation because it would have capped a great Jaren Jackson Jr. game. You know what I mean? That would have been one of those games you can put as like one of his best because he hit some just nuts 3-pointers.
He hit some clutch shots down the stretch, but he did not hit very many before.
Yeah.
8 of 27 is the
and overtime it got ugly too.
Yeah, that ain't great. But a lot of guys trying to force it. He and Bane both. You saw the flip side where sometimes guys without Ja and without Dillon, you kind of push it a little bit, kind of try to make your own shot. That's not their game.
Yeah.
Jaren is not creating his own shot outside of the paint. Like he can drive in and score, but that's about it. And Bane can do it, but that's not, again, he's
right.
Keep that to a minimum. Let's try to do more catch and shoots if we can.
But I was optimistic to see because I was thinking like this time last year, and this is all I got to say on that. This time last year, that Utah team was the #1 seed in the West, and they beat us and made us look like little kids in the playoffs. and Jaren looked bad, and he looked like he couldn't stay on the court with Gobert, and you know, those type of things. And what a difference a year has made, man. You know what I mean? That Utah team is the exact same team, plus they added House and they added Whiteside.
Well, Ingles. They don't have Ingles.
Don't have Ingles yet.
Ingles has been big. It's been a big miss for them. They've missed him a lot.
But like I said, to see Jaren look that competent on the court against Gobert and look like a mismatch against him, you know what I mean? Like that. Those are all promising things against a Utah team that you may see at some point in the playoffs or whatever. But just kind of gauging how this team is in general was good to see how good they were against a team like you said earlier in the show. Utah team desperate against on the ropes. You know, trying to stop the bleeding, playing at home, and we had our kind of fallback roster out there, and still took them to the brink.
Quinn Snyder before the game, incidentally, with a 19-minute monologue about how people need to stop talking about how Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert don't really like each other, and that they're actually everything's cool.
They're gonna blow that up.
19 minutes.
It never happened. It's fiction.
Methinks the lady doth protest too much.
Yeah,
as my man Billy Shakes wrote these many years ago.
Yeah, they're going to blow that team up this summer.
Hey, I got a quick one for both of you guys.
It better be quick because we're going to
really, really quick. Does Tiger make the cut this weekend?
Yes.
No?
We'll talk about it tomorrow.
Okay.
Why you got to get that? Why you get the record?
Because he starts tomorrow. He'll be already playing by the time we get on.
Who cares?
He'll make
man.
Is he going to make the cut?
Yeah.
No, I mean, I care about that, but we can still talk about him making a cut.
Let's do it. All Tiger Thursday, baby.
He'll make it.
He's going to win the whole
Four!
We got to get out of here. Coming up next, Sports Time.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. As we all know, Memphis can be a hotbed for severe